Stephen Whitesides here with Greenbrier Music, shooting a review on a Gretsch Brooklyn kit. This is a 10, 12, 16 with a 22 kick and a standard size snare, 14 by 6.5, and the blue Oyster finish. It's a great finish, looks a little bit like running water. The Brooklyn series in general comes off to me with a very vintage vibe. Personally, I play more fusion style mixed with a lot of modern elements. You'll probably notice, for those of you who are true classic jazz fans and jazz standards players, you probably think I'm a terrible drummer just because that's not my thing, and I'm never really aiming to do that. I just dip my toes in it. I like to blend modern fusion and metal elements into things that remotely sound like jazz. So I will apologize. This kit is really for a jazz player, in my opinion. Even in these sizes, it would be a decent standard club kit, but this is not a Gretsch USA. That is my honest opinion. I've been playing Gretsch USA for a long time, and while this is a USA-made kit, just sounds totally different. Check out specs. There's a lot of good reasons why this is different from a USA kit, but as far as application, the shells sound a little more tonal and less controlled than a Gretsch USA to me. They're a little harder to tune. They definitely have more of the feel of playing like a Ludwig classic maple from the 70s. Is really similar to this, except that the shells are heavier, so you do get a less open sound than that. It's maybe somewhere halfway between a 1970 classic maple blue Oyster and a Gretsch USA in sound. Two kits that I've owned for a long time. And that's the one complaint I have about the kit, really. It's kind of got a leg in the past and a leg in the future, because we have cool new Vibraband mounts. We have Gretsch USA style hardware all over the kit as far as lugs, bass drum claws, tension rods, etc. The snare actually is the one thing I'd give a really positive review on personally. I would use this snare. It's not a Gretsch USA. I kind of hate the two-flange tube thing. But as far as the way the snare sounds, it's great. It's just not as practical to use with a stick chopper hoop. There's a reason they call it a stick chopper. It also provides rim shots that are a little more tonal and wild. So if you're going for a wide open, kind of loose 20 sound, you're playing with a band that's, instead of being tight, punctual, right on the metronome, you're playing a little more loose. Maybe you're in an improv group, maybe you're just playing jazz, freeform, something like that. This is probably an ideal kit for you. If you're playing right on the money cover band, if you want versatility, if you want to be able to move around, if you're playing any kind of hard rock, steer clear of Brooklyn. I can't give it an honest positive review in that regard. I'd say get a Gretsch USA. A satin finish Gretsch USA or a wrap finish Gretsch USA is not that much more money, and man, do you get more kit for your dollar there. It's hard to explain unless you've actually just sat down and played on one or listened to some of the other videos I've shot. I believe you'll hear the difference. Especially just for a classic reference of Gretsch USA, look for that green sparkle kit on our YouTube channel I shot a video on. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the more true videos. The way that kit sounds was the way it sounded in the room. I was really happy with that kit. Again, back to Brooklyn though, the toms and bass drum, doesn't bother me that we have the two-flange tube. I don't rim shot toms, I don't rim click toms much. It's just not my style, and I don't know a lot of drummers that do. I like the head selection that comes with the kit. The bass drum is very warm, it's very controlled. In contrast to the toms, it's kind of thuddy, and that's with no pillow on it, just stock heads is what we're going with everything here. As far as tuning, it's close to out of the box. I really just tweaked and set the pitch so that the toms sounded a little friendly together. I didn't give it my usual, like, highly technical, try to go a third or a fifth apart depending on what the shells want to do kind of tuning. I figured after dabbling with Brooklyn before, it's just not meant to be precisely tuned that way. It's a kit that, probably because of the extra soft poplar core, really lends itself to a little bit of a, almost like a deliberately slightly out of tune sort of sound, that boom, where it drops a little on the sustain from the pitch you got on the attack, just due to different tuning at different points with different lugs. The kit sounds more fun that way. It's more alive. If you try to tune a Brooklyn precisely, I feel like it's not lively enough to do that anymore. It almost, you get like a standing wave effect with the top and bottom head kind of canceling each other out and making a really loud pop of an attack. Not a big fan of that. So, I'd go like maybe a third apart on the pitch from your top head to your bottom head on Brooklyn, and I definitely wouldn't try to tune too precisely. Just tune by ear on these. Just improvise every aspect of what you do if you're going to play on a Gretsch Brooklyn. If that fits your vibe, we have found the kit for you. I love the round badge. There's only 8 finishes and 3 configurations, so it's not true to Gretsch USA in that it's it's not a custom kit. You can't get exactly your configuration unless one of these 3 is exactly what you want. But they are really popular configurations, and the 10, 12, 16 we did a video on is the best seller. It's actually close to the configuration I play on my Gretsch USA. I just add a 14 and an 8-inch in, and poof, you got exactly what I love to jam on. Other than that, though, if you have any questions about it, now that I've had a chance to play 3 Gretsch Brooklyn kits, this being my 3rd, feel free to call in, ask for me personally. I'd be more than happy to tell you more thoughts or answer specific questions on the Brooklyn. And if you want to buy one, please buy one from Greenbrier Music, 540-372-DRUM. We'd be happy to give you some expert advice from drummers who've actually played on the kit. And hope you enjoyed the video.